Hello out there in SIGT land and the rest of YouTube. This is Randy, and I'm going to do another review here. This is a gun that's been out for a while, and it's actually one of my favorite guns. I use it in my competition, and even on the weekends I actually carry this gun. Wintertime carry also too. It's not just one gun, but it's actually two, and I'm going to kind of show you the set here of how it all comes. But what my favorite gun is, full-size pistol, is going to be the Springfield XDM. I'm going to go into why I think this is my favorite personally for me, and why I use it for competition and everything else like that. So first off, we're going to talk about the ergonomics. Ergonomics of this gun. It fits my hand wonderfully. The one thing I like about Springfield is if you can see here, there's a punch pin. This is kind of crappy the way they did this, but it holds it in there. You might only need to change it once. The punch pin there actually takes off this back strap. This back strap is interchangeable with a different variety of back straps to fit your hand exactly the way you want the grip to be. I find that a wonderful feature of most of these modern firearms. I know Glock's kind of doing it new with the Gen 4s. Smith & Wesson has been doing it now with the M&P, and Springfield is doing it here. So the ergonomics of the gun, I'm going to rate this a 5 out of 5 because it customs fits to my hand. It's got a great grip angle for me. I can, do everything I want to on this. So now I'm going to talk about the weight and the balance of the XDM. The weight is actually really good, proportional to the size of this firearm. You might pick it up in the store and feel that top heaviness of that slide when you weight it down finally with a magazine full of rounds. We'll check, no rounds in there. I'm not going to rack the slide, but this magazine is full of rounds. It's actually got a really good centered point of weight. So the weight and the balance, I'm going to have to give that a 5 out of 5. I really enjoy that weight and the weight distribution of this, along with the ergonomics. It just fits really comfortably in my hand. So the controls. The controls, I ding this 1 point because of one thing, is we have a wonderful ambidextrous mag release on both sides. I really love ambidextrous mag release, and the reason behind it is I'm going to go inside this case and pull out an empty mag so we're not dealing with full rounds, but when I shoot my competition, I actually take my middle finger, bring it here, and release. And what that does is it doesn't change the angle that my hand is actually on this grip. So I can just, when I am in slide lock back position, just like that, I last round, out, come in with the new run, back, off and running. Really quick, really great. I love that. The other control feature on this is, you can see here, it's a very, very great pronounced slide release. Now, I know when you're shooting Glocks and stuff, you see a lot of the guys, they come back, they pull back, and they rack that last round back into the first round back into that. That's great. I want something just, it feels a little bit more quicker for me before I go in. Just slide back down and I'm off and running. I can be one-handed. I don't have to have my hand up here. I can be back in the action in no time. All my hand is down here. Bam, I'm off and running. So slide lock back, mag out, mag in, back in the game. So one of the things I love about the XDM is it's a wonderful pronounced slide release, and I'm not even moving my hand that far forward. It doesn't even interfere with the way I grip. When I'm gripping like this, my fingers, my thumbs, everything's on the side. Pull up, down, I'm not changing anything. Traditionally, on your mag releases that are on the side, you actually have to pull your hand around. My thumb barely reaches that, but I don't have enough pressure to push it, so I've got to bring it around so the gun is now out of my hand like that, and then inserting it back in, and I got to readjust. So bam, out, bam, in, readjust, a little bit longer. So the controls of that, I love it. The only thing I'm going to ding it a point on is the fact that it's not all ambidextrous, so the slide release isn't for left-handed people. You are going to have to do something like maybe pull down like that. I've never really did slide, but it's a little uncomfortable actually doing that, and kind of unruly. Maybe with a little bit of practice I could get it, but I'm not a left-handed shooter. The only time we shoot left-handed is in competition, is we do the single stage, and it's kind of like where your arm breaks or something and you're left with your left hand, so we got to shoot, and then I got to compensate for my right eye, so it's kind of gangster style. I'm on a little bit of an angle. I don't really hold it that straight, but yeah, that's just what I've grown accustomed to. It's probably not the perfect shooting stance. So that's the control. All right, now we're going to talk about the disassembly of this weapon. Disassembly is simple, stupid, easy. Slide back, mag out, little disassembly lever there, flip up, release the slide, pull forward, and it's done. No trigger pull, no nothing. So the disassembly, it's 5 out of 5. Easy, no risk. Even if I had a bullet in this chamber, it wouldn't be going off because I'd slowly be dropping that hammer down on it. It wouldn't, it's not going to be like a trigger pull where it's going to be that click. When I do the actual slide back, the firing pin's down, slow forward, can't fire that weapon. One thing I love about that. And then you just pull your spring out, your barrel just slips out, bam. The only thing I will ding it a little on is if you want to get the firing pin out, you're going to have to take a punch and punch that pin out. Now here's my big beef, I guess, with this, is because of that roll pin. When you dry fire, like I do, I have to do this in competition. At the end of each stage, they make us clear the weapon. We have to show clear, slide forward, pull trigger, and holster. Bam. So we're dry firing this weapon a lot. The one thing I heard is the roll pin actually gets beat up a little bit. It'll actually indent that roll pin because the firing pin is actually a U-shaped design, and the roll pin comes in it, so it retains that firing pin. When you shoot it like that, the back of that roll pin gets beat up by the back of the firing pin. And I have yet to have any issues with this. I've removed this several times. I'm not going to remove it for you today because it's just a simple punch out, put it back in, and you're off and running. But I have yet to see any damage or wear on that. But I have heard cases that there is damage or wear on that roll pin. They do make a newer roll pin that's a little bit stouter for that reason. I figured once mine gets damaged, I'll just order that roll pin, bam, put it back in. So that's the ease of the takedown. Real simple, easy. Real safe and easy. So you forget to put a round in there, it doesn't go off in your hand because you got to pull the trigger to get the slide off. That's one of the things I love about it. Okay, so we're going to talk about reliability. Now, with any man-made object comes unreliability. I have yet to see one product that does not fail. And I know you Glock fanatics are going to be like, oh, Glock never fails. Sorry, buddy. I've been on the range too many times. I've seen Glock fail just like this is going to fail. And I'm going to say it's going to fail in the exact same frequency that's going to fail. It's going to fail in the exact same frequency that Smith & Wesson's going to fail the Pro Series. Those guns are really reliable guns. I'm going to put that up there, put this up there with those guns. And one of the things I did notice on the reliability aspect of it is you do have a little pin right here. I'll take this apart again. You can just see that ease of taking it apart. Take it apart 50 million times. It's just so simple, easy. But you do have a little pin right here. And that pin pops up, it'll be the load indicator. Now, one thing I've noticed with thousands upon thousands of rounds fired through this and the general overall cleaning of that, sometimes you get a little dirt and gunk and it'll actually show that there's a round in there and there's not. So easy thing is just punch the roll pin out, clean under the underside of that, and bam, it's all nice and done and clean. But that could be a reliability issue if you're not comfortable pushing roll pins out. The other thing that I noticed when I was shooting competition is the slide release here, and I've put thousands upon thousands of rounds through this gun. This gun probably has 10,000 rounds through it, and I have no qualms of firing anymore. But after, you know, who knows, it might have been 8,000 rounds or so, I noticed a slide release, and it's very strange. There's a spring. It's a C-clip spring like this, and it compresses, kind of like that notion. That, for some reason, got stiffer on me, and it wasn't allowing. And now it's either the spring got stiffer, which probably is not the reason, but it's probably more these mag springs got weaker after thousands upon thousands of rounds through them, and it wasn't enough to push that up. It had a little bit too much downward force. That spring didn't wear out the same way these springs wore out in the magazine. So what I did is I actually came in, pulled this block off, which is, you know, it's a little minor complicated task, but not too bad. I got it back together. You know, being an amateur gunsmith, I got it back together pretty easily, and I actually just compressed that spring ever so slightly. Now all my magazines actually lock back. I hope I don't have that problem anymore. We'll see in competition. The buzzer goes off, everything goes wrong. So the reliability, I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. I really don't feel in the reliability category that you could give any weapon a 5 out of 5. Like I said, anything made by man will malfunction. So capacity. One of the things that drew me to the Springfield XDM is the capacity of the magazines. The capacity of the magazine in a 9mm is 19 rounds. Back when I first purchased this weapon, 19 rounds was like, wow, that's a huge amount. And this is a standard capacity magazine. That is just stock. So no added plates, no nothing, no extension mags sitting 40 feet out of the bottom of the gun, you know, your monopod mags and that type of stuff. That's just standard mag. So 1 plus 19, we got 20 starting off with. Phenomenal. I love that. The other thing I forgot to mention about just the, I guess you could say the reliability, the functionality, the control, and all that stuff is the positive mag release. You know, you hit the button, the mag falls out. There's no more of that pulling, gripping, stripping stuff. So it's just bam, out. I can already be down here on my mag pouch, bam, in here. I don't have to do a double function. And a double function, I mean, my hand doesn't have to be up here, pull, release, grab, and then come back in. I can just pull, grab, come back in. That's one of the things I love about that. So on the reliability category or the functionality or the control category, you know, you could throw that positive, what I call positive mag release. So that's wonderful. Stock sights on the gun, they're okay. Yeah, I wish I had some nice adjustable tritium night sights on here, but I've ran this gun for years in competition, never had a problem, sights never fell off, although, you know, I haven't really abused it that much. I don't chuck my gun into the ground or use it as a hammer or any of that stuff. So, I mean, the sights have actually stayed on. In fact, one of the things that scares me about trading these sights off is they say this back sight is so pressed in there, it is so solid that you actually have to grind it out. You got to grind that dovetail out to put the new sight back in. So, I mean, that's rock solid if you have to grind it out. It makes a problem when you want to trade the sights out, but good sights, they're just standard little white dots. I did find after a while the white dots kind of got covered with some dirt, and I had to go in there with a toothpick and kind of clean them out so I can see my white dots again. But other than that, the sights on this, they're good solid sights. Like I said, I don't beat them up, but they've stayed true all these years of competition. So overall, on the XDM, I have to say that, you know, for what you're buying and everything, you're getting a great deal. The package that you kind of get with your XDMs is going to look kind of like this. The only thing I'm missing is the holster, that little clip-on paddle holster here. It's okay. It's not the greatest. This is not the greatest gear in the world, but it is gear. So if you're looking at starting an IDPA or USPSA or 3-gun or something like that, it's a good kit to buy because it's kind of got all the starter stuff. One of the things I find funny is this little mag magazine loader thing. I still love the Upalula. You can't beat a good old Upalula, but you know, you put that in there and compress your bullets and that type of stuff. It's kind of a joke. They even give you the Picatinny slide option here, I guess. So if you want to, I don't know, you can do something silly like that. But I think it's actually meant for the mag holster here. Has actually got a little Picatinny mount, and you can actually put that on there and here, carry it on your belt. But this thing's junk. Never used it. I stick with my Upalula. I just keep it with the set in case I ever want to sell it and somebody just desperately has to have it. This is worth mentioning, but this is actually my other XDM. This is the 3.8. This is my compact version. It has a compact mag with it, which I've got the Pierce extension on there. That one's also free and clear, but this one does have bullets in it, and I just want to show you the Pierce grip extension on how it just barely covers the pinky. If I didn't have that, my hand would actually be sliding off the bottom. That's the only thing that makes that tolerable. But that's the 3.8 version. The 3.8 version also has these you can actually do, and this is just a 9mm mag. You can actually slide these over it. And the 9mm mag will work with the 40, but now you've got your full-size grip. That's one of the other selling features when I purchased this weapon system is hey man, I can use my 9mm mags, I can shoot my 40, I've got full grip extensions on this. You know, what a great thing. I actually do conceal this one over the winter or even the weekends, depending on, you know, what I'm doing, because I just want something with a little bit more capacity, a little bit more bullet, you know, a little bit more everything. But put them up side by side so you can kind of see the length difference in the two weapon systems. Let's see if that works. But you can see the grip here and the barrel here, which does make it for a great concealed carry. But let's get back to overall. I just wanted to show you the two of them. I do own two of them and two different varieties of it because I do love the system so much. Now let's get back to the overall. Overall, I have to say 4.5. I don't know if there is a 5.5 or a 5 out of 5 gun. I don't know if that animal exists. I've yet to see something that functions completely perfectly. No modifications, 10,000 bazillion rounds out of the box, and never had one single failure in the history of all of its making. Nothing like that. You know, I know Glock's got a great reputation. But I've seen them fail. You know, it might not have been your Glock, it might have been somebody else's Glock, but everything made by man has the ability to fail. That is it, guys. See you later.